We have a cloudy day on the beach here in Malibu, and I thought it's the perfect day to reflect on the Q3 system. As a returning viewer, As a returning viewer to my channel, you know by now that I am a proud owner of the Q3 28, and I had the Q3 43 as a loaner to test. I did several videos about the Q3 43 when I had it, and I'm gonna link everything I'm gonna mention in this video, I'm gonna link in the description. I already got wet feet on my first steps. Now it's and now we're gonna just walk up and down a little bit on that beautiful beach because the tide is closing in and my time is limited. So before I start, whoopsie again. So before I start, let me do some housekeeping. According to my statistics, I get a lot of views on my videos, which I'm very happy, and thank you for that. Thank you for spending your time on my channel. What really would help me if you would become a subscriber, because I still have only 15% of my views are subscribed views, and the YouTube algorithm somehow prefers channels that have more subscribers, and I only do my channel like 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years. And you could really help me grow so the channel gets more visible when you just, whoopsie, hit that subscribe button. The other thing I want to mention that I did several videos about the Q3 system already, and especially I did a video about the menu setup. And if you are a Q3 owner, it doesn't matter if you're 43 or 28, and you want to know how I set up my camera, my 28, check out that video. You can also download my settings. I offer them for free, no cost for you. I put a link in the description. You can download the LCS file, and there's a little explanation how you can install it. I'm out of breath. And whoopsie again. And I had also a PDF file that shows you how I assigned my buttons and wheels. So why this video now? We have basically the two systems, the two cameras, the one system, the two cameras, and they vary only in a few little things. Catch a breath. Let me stand a little bit. I did an initial video when the Q3 43 came out about a year ago. And of course, this was like the first comparison of the 28 I know, because I already owned the Q2 and the 43 that just came out. I don't own the 43. I had it as a loaner for just a few days to do my videos. And yeah, if you want to check out this initial comparison I did, I put a link in the description. I think it's talking, of course, a lot about the differences in the focal length and what the benefits are and what my feeling was when I first tried the 43 out. So let me walk a little bit again. The reason why I'm doing this video right now is because I get a lot of questions in my comments about the differences and what I would recommend and all my thoughts. And sometimes they are like recurring questions. So I thought I'm going to address some of them. But before we can do that, I need to set up basically the two systems. I'm not going to go deep into the technical specs because we all know them, but still to set it up, we need to talk about the obvious differences. So I have to turn around here. Of course, the main difference of the cameras are the lens that is fixedly attached to the camera. You cannot exchange the lens. You have to buy the body when you buy the lens. When we're talking about the lenses, we have one little problem with the 43. It's hard to attach a filter. If you want to keep the iconic sun blade on the camera, you cannot attach a UV filter. There are now some UV filters that are very slim, that are possible. I never tested it because, again, I don't own the 43. There is also now a new lens hood, lens cap, sun blade, I think from Freewell out, that you can screw on the camera, and then you can also use filters. I thought when I saw this first, I think it looks ridiculous and it may be a good product, but if I would own a 43, I would not use that. I would just get rid of the sun blade in total and buy a round one, or I think the third-party things just don't look good. The next point, I stand again. In preparation of this video, I checked out how Leica does market the two different cameras, and they have basically a claim for both of the cameras. I wrote that down. On the 28, they say unique, just like you, and the 43, they say moments just as your eyes see them. Same camera body, different lenses, different approach in selling the camera. And this is now when we're talking about the decision, which camera should I buy, which I get asked a lot, is let's look at how Leica sees the two cameras. The 43, moments just as your eyes can see them. What do they mean by that? When you have a 43mm lens and you look through the viewfinder, the objects you are standing in front of are basically or feeling as they are the same way apart from you. If I, for example, have a person 3 meters in front of me and I take up the 43, looking through the viewfinder, from my feeling, this person is still like the same size. And it looks like if I would take down the camera and look at the person, it's like it feels the same distance. If I look through the 28 viewfinder, all of a sudden the person is far away from my feeling. And this is what they mean. So the 43, I think, especially when you are maybe starting into photography, I think now the 43 is the way to go, because it's easier, because you don't have to imagine something, you don't have to think. It's easier to compose a picture, because I'm looking now to this beautiful beach, and if I would take the 43, I would see exactly the same distance here. And if I, on the same time, would take up the 28, I would see much more, but it felt a little bit further away. So this is, I would say, how I can explain the difference. In my initial video, I, of course, compared the lenses in making pictures from the same point where I'm standing with the two cameras. So I took a picture with the 28, I took the same picture with the 43. And this is a comparison you can do, but probably what would have more sense is to compose the picture with the 43 and then compose the same picture with the 28, because then you get the real difference. Because when I have the 28, I have to go closer to have exactly the same picture. And then the optics change. I talk in that first initial video, I talk about that the differences is it's physics, not look. And I stand by this. The little mistake I made there is that I made the picture from the same point where I was standing. And if I would do it today, and I don't have the 43 with me today, I would do it differently. I would do the same picture by walking towards and from the subjects away to have, then you can see the difference in what the optics can do. So I have to correct myself on that one. And with that in mind, I think the 43 is probably the more satisfying focal length for you. And now we come back to the Leica marketing claim, unique just like you on the 28. The 28 for me, it's more creative. I can see more and I can always crop in, and I cannot crop out of the 43. So I think especially for street photography, travel photography, I use it for still photography on my film sets. And for that, I would say the 28 is for me more versatile, which doesn't mean that I don't want to have the 43, which I don't at the moment. Yeah, but if you are deciding between those two, you have to have in mind, if I take a picture from the same position and I crop in, it looks almost the same, or it looks, I would still say it looks almost the same. You just cropped. But when you want to like compose your pictures, and especially when you're doing people, you will step closer in distance with a 28, and then you will have a different feel of the face, because of course then it's physics. And yeah, I hope my very complicated rambling here it still makes sense for you. So I had some specific questions I want to touch up on now. First, if you were to buy a Q as a father with the intention to use it for document your family life and travel 28 or 43. As I just said, because that sounds for me like you are new maybe to photography, you want to buy a cool camera that you have for years to document your kids, your family. That sounds for me like someone who is starting, so I would say go with the 43. What you have to have in mind, if you want to, I don't know, take pictures of a building, or if you have a group shot with several people in there, you always need to be able to take a step back, because maybe the frame is too tight otherwise. One user pointed out that a one-to-one comparison, as I did it in my initial video, is not fair, because of course you need to first find the right spot to take a picture. This is what I explained earlier in the video. That user is totally right, and it was one of the comments that triggered me to do this video here, to like set the record straight. Then I have a lot of comments that go in a way, I just read one of them. The Q shows that camera users, the Q shows, thank you, now I'm totally wet. Now it's, I have to change my pants at some point. So again, I'm going to turn around here, otherwise I will not make it back. Again, I'm going to read that comment from the user. The Q shows that Leica users, aside from their film cameras, will pay a huge amount for an old Panasonic dressed in a plastic body. Not true. The Q is not a plastic body. I don't know any Panasonic that has the technical specs, whoopsie again, of the Q. And so I just think these are comments that happened a lot on my channel, and I urge you, if you are frustrated that Leica is expensive, that's not my problem. And it's not my fault that Leica is expensive. They are making the cameras. I just like them, and I'm in the fortunate position that I can buy myself a Leica. Maybe you check out my video that is called Why Leica, where I go through my journey, how I became a Leica shooter. And it was not because I thought, I have too much money, I'm gonna buy a Leica now. It's because I really think the cameras are great, and because it's also an experience. And for me, taking a picture is not necessarily all about specs and megapixels and autofocus speed. It's more about the experience, the moment. And this is something I can enjoy more with a Leica, and it has nothing to do with the price. So please comment on my channel about the passion of photography, about staying curious, about evolving with photography, storytelling. Stop complaining about prices. It's not constructive, and it should be a fun place and a good place to be. I had one user who wrote me, and he said, because he bought both the 43 and the 28, and I congratulated him on that. And he said, as a 79-year-old, I think we need to grab what beauty we can. So good for you, buddy. And I hope you enjoy both of the cameras. And I really hope everybody who owns a camera, and I don't care if it's a Leica or not, I hope everybody who owns a camera, who take pictures, who finds something, who finds maybe a little bit peace in photography, I root for you. And this is why we're all here, to have fun, to be inspired, and to come back and to reflect. And that's why I made this video, to reflect on a system I truly like, I truly believe in. And I'm very fortunate and happy that I have the 28. And yeah, please, let's continue the conversation. If you have any questions that have not been addressed in this video, please ask me. I'm happy to answer. I try to answer every question or reply to every comment. And yeah, my community is very dear to me. So if you are a Leica Q3 owner, let me remind you, if you want to have my settings, I have a link in the description. And please subscribe. And if you are confused with the menu, check out this video, or if you want to know other things about the Q3 system, check out one of those 2 videos. Thank you for watching, and always stay curious.